Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwarash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. And Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. Shalom to you all. All right, the title of this article says, ICE raid at meat production plant baffles company. All right. Let's get right into it. It says, United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE agents, raided Glen Valley Foods, a meat production plant in South Omaha, detaining approximately 70 workers, man. That's here in Nebraska. You see that? Damn. Right there in that major city, Omaha. It says the raid came as President Donald Trump intensified immigration crackdown efforts across the country. Israelites out of the country, or into not out of the country necessarily, into these concentration camps. Okay? It says the raid took both company officials and community members by surprise. Speaking to the local station, Wout, Gary Rower, CEO of Glen Valley Foods and a maker of Gary's Quick Steak products, said that he had received no advance notice of the operation. Of course not. It's a raid, he said, explaining that federal agents arrived with no warning and began screening workers immediately. Glen Valley Foods President Chad Hartman expressed shock at the nature of the operation. My biggest issue is why us, Hartman said. We do everything by the book. The company utilizes E-Verify, the federal database designed to confirm employees' work authorization, and had believed it was in full legal compliance. However, when Hartman brought this up with ICE agents during a raid, he was told that the E-Verify system is broken. Said Hartman, I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? This is your system run by the government, and you're raiding me because your system is broken. You see? Because this devil, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is a liar. You see, he's a false accuser. He's a deceiver. Okay, and y'all see how this started off under the gospel. Oh, we're going to get rid of illegal T-words and cartel members and all that. And now it's your everyday, hard-working, so-called Mexican, so-called Hispanic that's getting targeted, whether you're legal or illegal, because in some cases you got American citizens that got sent to these camps, man. All right, and now you see how Esau, there's always an excuse for whenever he acts up and breaks his own rules. You see that not only does he break the laws of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai and his wickedness, okay, but he breaks his own laws. Esau breaks Esau's laws, and then he makes up excuses like, oh, well, the system is broken. See? And like the guy here was saying, that's their own system, man. So that they create it like that on purpose, I wouldn't put it past these Edomites, man. All right, but the point of me bringing this out is showing you that this thing is spicing up and it is heating up as we speak. Every day it's intensifying, man. The big, beautiful bill, which Donald Trump had passed, okay, that bill is talking about giving ICE, $250 billion to, continue their efforts and intensify their efforts. So, that's a lot of money, okay? And they're building all these prisons and stuff, okay? This is only going to get a hell of a lot worse for the Israelites who, and ultimately, not just two-thirds, because even the elect, some of the elect will get caught up in it, but at the end of the day, there's a difference, okay? The elect will be saved out of these prisons, man. All right, two-thirds will not be saved out of these prisons, man, okay? And a lot of the elect is not going to see these prison walls, okay? Because once these devils start escalating it even further, they might even bring in like actual military after our people. Okay, these robots, different weapons they have. Okay, like I said in my last video, man, the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, will lift up a standard, man. Because they eventually, what they're doing is they're normalizing these devils coming after Israelites. They're normalizing, you know, this in front of everybody. And then ultimately, they're going to come after the elect, those that are speaking out against this wicked ass nation and what it does, not only here, but worldwide. Okay, and then that's gonna be, you know, they're gonna have an excuse for that. They're gonna say it's the T word. They're gonna say it's anti-Sem. They're gonna say it's, you know, anti-alphabet. They're gonna say whatever it's anti-woman. It's anti, whatever the hell they want to say it is. They're gonna use an excuse, just like they did here. Oh, the system is broken. You see, they're gonna say anything. They don't even. They just have to say anything that any moron will believe out there. Because most of these Babylonians are morons, man. They're going to listen to the news and just believe what they hear most of the time. All right? Or they'll just say, oh, it's the left. Or, oh, it's the right. We got to vote someone else in. See, the people never get together and figure out what the real problem is. Because really, it's not prophecy for that to happen anyway. Okay, now, not yet. Because ultimately, the people will revolt. Okay, but at the end of the day, only the elect is going to win. When these devils come down with full wrath, what does the scripture say is going to happen? Okay, it's going to be Jacob's trouble. And of course, you're going to have class wars, race wars. You're going to have insurrections and all that. Okay, but who's going to stand out is the elect. Because Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai will defend his elect, man. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 40. And verse 31, but they that wait upon Yahweh shall renew their strength. Okay, right now we're in these decrepit bodies. Okay, we're fucked up. You know, even the youth, okay, men in their 20s, they got knee pains, back pains, body issues. They don't even know where that came from because of all the poisons in the food, water, air, and these pills that they recommend you to take. All right, you see? It's so many factors, okay, because we're in captivity and we're being punished for our iniquity. And the Lord uses Esau to punish us, man. But ultimately, the punishment of our iniquity will be accomplished, man. And when that's over, the Lord's going to step in and say, hey, that's it. Don't touch my elect, man. All right? It says, but they that wait upon Yahweh shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, man. We're going to have the ability to fly, man. All right, what's ICE going to do, you know, if the Lord give us the ability to fly, you know, and soar through the sky like an eagle, man, like Superman, all right, which those movies are based off the Bible, man. You can go into the name Kal El, I believe it is. It means all power, okay, which that's a Hebrew name, okay, going into Superman's name and things like that. You know, I haven't gone too deep into it, but I've seen it. I've heard about it, okay? And a lot of the stuff you see in that show is written in the scriptures, man. All right, like rays of light coming out of your hands. That's, you know, like if you watch that anime series, what's that called? Dragon Ball Z, where they shoot the Kamehamehas out of their hand. You know, there's another scripture that says rays of light coming out of the hands, roughly paraphrasing. It says horns coming out of the hand. But if you go into the word horn, it means rays of light. You see, so all these different TV shows are based off the scriptures. All right? It says, they shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, right? You got the Flash running nonstop. You see, we're going to be like that, man. And they shall walk and not faint. You know, because right now, we can't even walk that long without getting tired. Without, you know, oh, my ankle, oh, my knee. Oh, my back, you know, oh, my neck hurts because I was staring at the TV too long, whatever, right? Everything is our body's just in a very poor state, man, but we're going to renew our strength like in the days of old, man, all right? Because in the days of old, we had our God-like abilities, man. The Lord's bringing that back to the elect, man, all right? Now, we're not going to be in our brand new bodies yet, but we're going to have similar power in the sense of, even in this weak flesh, the Lord is going to revive this weak flesh to the point where we'll be able to fly, run nonstop, run through a troop, you know, beat the shit out of 20 men coming at you. You see, that's the Lord's power, man. Got to have faith and believe that. Okay? And let's go into Micah 2:2. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence. Okay, and this is speaking about the Edomites. And the reason I bring this out is because this whole this whole situation is based off the premise of, that Trump says, oh, well, they don't belong here, they're here illegally. Okay, but who's the biggest criminal in the world is Esau, man. Did he not steal this land by breaking all his treaties with the Native American Indians? Through trickery, through taking advantage of the people here, acting like he's their friend, and then ultimately using the knowledge, the information, and the benefits that the Native Americans gave these so-called white people. He used that against them. I imagine you come to somebody's house and you can't survive, and they give you everything you need, and then you somehow basically end up, I don't know. What's a good example? Yeah, somebody lets you into their house, you're homeless, and instead of being appreciative, you overthrow that person and take the house from them. That's what Esau did. Okay? It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence. That's what they did here, man. All right? There was a great slaughter of the Native American Indians. Okay, there's a book that calls it the American Genocide. Genocide. Okay, a lot of people died here. A lot of Native American Indians. How many? In all the islands, or when they combine North, Central, and South America and the Caribbean islands, we're talking about over 100 million. You see? Who did that? Esau, Edom. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Right? Because you had the Mexicans here too. It wasn't just the Native Americans. Mexicans own California, Texas, I believe Nevada, right? So part of this land belonged to the so-called Mexicans, and then the so-called Native Americans, and the so-called, the tribe of Salakia. I can't remember right now, but there was another tribe. But anyway, the point is, man, that Esau, okay, he's the real criminal here, man. All right? And we're going to get Zechariah 11:5 for a precept on that. It says, whose possessors slay them, right? Who's our possessors, man? We are the Israelites. We are possessed and held captive here by who? Esau. It says, whose possessors slay them, right? And hold themselves not guilty, right? And they're doing that now, man. They're throwing our people in prisons, not feeding them. How many of them have been died and just buried in the back of the prison, man? They were doing that with so-called African Americans here in America, who are, guess what, citizens. So what? How much worse those who are non-citizens, right? It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. All right? So, there is no excuse. You can't say that we're here illegally, our people are here illegally. All right? Your whole empire was built illegally, man. It was built off slaughter and lies and slavery, okay? Which, the Israelites, we're supposed to be the rulers of the earth, man. Your place is slavery, Esau, not ours. So everything you've done is fraud, man. All right? And I'm also saying this for our people. I'm not really talking to Esau. I don't really give a shit if Esau watches these videos or not. This is for the hopeful elect. All right, but I talk as if I'm talking to Esau, just for edification's sake. And if an Edomite is watching, then yeah, hey, You're guilty, man. You're guilty as charged. Your judgment is you're going to be destroyed. All right? This is Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. Right? All these Edomites, that's your judgment. You're going to be devoured by the fire of Yahweh's jealousy, man. It says, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, right? You have Esau, Edom at the top, and all these other nations that are joined hand in hand with him. It says, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. Is Esau not robbing us to this day? The scriptures say we're supposed to get paid at the end of the day, not after a week or 2 weeks, right? And they hold it for 2 weeks so they can charge you more taxes. For what? To rob us, man. Them raising the price of rent, them raising the price of food, them making you work longer hours with less overtime or less money, right? Giving you more. They robbing us left and right, man. All right? They took our land from us, right? They got a 400-year head start on us, and they continue to basically sabotage our ability to get up and come up monetarily, right? The first one's the last one's hired, the first one's fired. That's what we are, right? So they are devouring us and spoiling us, man, which means to rob. It says, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. All right, and we always say it, Jacob's trouble is really going to be everybody's trouble eventually, man. Right? The only ones that's going to come out on top is the elect. The elect. Esau's going to get fucked up in his own, he's going to fall into his own trap, man. That MOTB, all right, that's going to affect Edomites too, man. So these Edomites want to be all proud, but their own leaders are going to put them in slavery, man. Yeah, that shows you what type of a shitty people they are, that they would enslave their own. You see? In the kingdom of heaven, when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua establishes the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to enslave our own people, man. All of our people are going to be rich. All right? But it just goes to show what type of people rule the earth right now. As the scriptures say, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Right? We are the judges. We're going to be the judges of this earth in the world to come. Right? They covered our faces by, putting so-called white man images over the apostles, over Yahushua, over all the so-called J.E. Salakia. We can't really say that word, but J.E.Ws, the real J.E.Ws are us so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. We're the real Israelites. But these Edomites, they put so-called white man faces on them, man. So that's, that scripture in Job. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and he covers the faces of the judges thereof. See? If not, where and who is he? Right? So you don't see Chinese Jesus. You don't see Arab Jesus. Only white Jesus, right? Which that's not even his name. His name's Yahushua, and he's a so-called black man. All right? But if this man right here, these Edomites that did this, if they're not the devil, if they're not the wicked, then who could it be? See? Don't worry about nothing. Don't fear nothing, man. Because when these devils come after us, we're going to get them powers, man. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua will be glorified on that day. Ain't nothing Esau could do, man. All right? The only thing he could do is hurry the fuck up and push his mark before A. Because Yahushua is gonna speed this thing up regardless of what Esau does. The Lord's going to force his hand, man. We're not going to stay in this damn stalemate forever, man. Just working and paying bills forever just because Esau thinks he's going to offset prophecy. It ain't going to happen, man. All right, so we're going to get these powers soon, Yasharala. This is kind of like a follow-up to the last video. Going into spiritual powers. honor and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakurash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom wa, abba babal. Shalom.